Hey, it's Jimmy here. I just thought I'd jump in from my kitchen table today, which is a place I have been working for the last 3 years building online courses and programs. And I wanted to reach out to you today because I normally do this outside, but I thought I'd do it today as we approach the last 4 months of probably the most defining time in my generation's history, because of what's actually happening with the global pandemic. And I want to jump on and share a couple of things with you. I received a text message 2 days ago from a school friend of mine. I went to boarding school in Ireland, and I know a lot of people don't like sending their kids to boarding school. I loved it, but I know there's a big division. Some love it, some hate it. And I don't want to get into that debate today, but I got a text message from one of my friends, and he was reaching out to me because he knows that I'm looking to get support from my team as I grow my team online, and he suggested somebody that might be of interest in working in my team. And I sent him a message back and thanked him. His name is Tom. And I said to him, Tom, how are things in Ireland? And I got this message back from him, and he said to me, there's a lot of concern because the numbers of people with COVID-19 are beginning to rise again. Northern Hemisphere, I'm down here in the Southern Hemisphere, so it's just ending winter time, but in the Northern Hemisphere, it's obviously just ending the summertime, and the kids are going back to school, and he's very concerned because the numbers of cases are rising and the kids are going back to school. And I sent him a message back, and I said to him, Tom, what's the main concern? And he sent me this message back yesterday, and it's kind of been playing on my mind because I've just done a live into my Facebook group, People Transitioning Online, and it's something that's been playing on my mind because when I said to him, what are people today mostly afraid of and fearful of? He said to me, in Ireland today, it's about split 50-50. People fear death, they fear illness, significant illness, and the other 50% of the people fear an economic meltdown. Well, I know that we all know what we need to do in order to stay safe today. We've got to be very, very careful, and we've also got to, just use our common sense and keep healthy, keep energized, exercised, and sleep well, eat well. And it was really the other part, which was the economic meltdown. This kind of reminds me of a podcast interview I did last week in America. And the interviewer asked me about, what my opinion was on where the economy is going. And he knew I was online, and I was talking to an audience of more corporate people who were looking to transition online. And I said to him, what we're going through now and what we're about to go through is something similar to what I like to term mega trends. And you've probably read a bit about mega trends, but there was one big mega trend back in the 1880s, and that was a period of 40 years where people moved from living for many generations before that on farms, working for themselves, living on farms. And then there was a migration to towns and cities. And by the early 1900s, we had the start of companies and corporations as we know them today, and people working as employees and commuting into work because the car was being built by Henry Ford, and the planes were starting. And I think a lot of people today think that kind of world of the company and corporation has been around for hundreds of years. Well, it hasn't. It's only been around for about 100, maybe 120 years. But what I see now happening is that there's a reverse of that. And no longer are, I believe in the future, no longer are people going to work for companies. We're already beginning to see it, that people are going to be starting to work for themselves or going back to working for themselves like they did before 1880. The only difference here is that they're not going to be working on farms, they're actually going to be working from home and places remotely. And whilst there's still going to be a place for companies and corporations, I think we're going to see less and less of that in the future. And that impact is going to be quite significant because people are not going to be commuting into work. So there's going to be an impact on travel. We're already seeing it. There's going to be an impact on, office space and people in real estate. There's going to be an impact on, city centres where people commuted into. But I believe that with all these changes, they all happen for a reason, and I believe we're going to be a lot better for it when we come through this, and we will. And I know that for me anyway, having now worked from my kitchen table for the last 3 years, that so many people now are reaching out to go online, because that is where the future is. Everybody wants to get online. And I know it's not for everybody, but I do believe now, having done this for the last 3 years and spending 25 years prior to that in the company, both as a director and owning my own businesses as well, so I saw both sides of it. There's been nothing like doing this before, creating these programs and courses and then being able to share them with people all around the world who are buying them, and then coaching people on how it is to get online now and impacting people's lives. Like, it's just phenomenal, and it is certainly the most enjoyable time of my life, and just seeing people's lives get impacted. I think that is enough reason for people wanting to get online. But I just wanted to share that with you because it's an interesting dynamic that we're going through in history today. I know that when we talk to our kids, and maybe you don't have children, maybe you do, but if you do know young people, I do believe that they'll tell their children and their children's children for many generations to go about 2020 as a defining moment in history. And as I say, I think it's going to be that kind of start of that mega trend of where people are now going to be going back and working from themselves, and like me, working from their kitchen table. So I wanted to share that little story with you today. Wherever you are, I hope that you're well, and most importantly, you're safe. And thanks for your support, and I look forward to continuing to connect with you. Wherever you are, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.